Knowledge-based lab interpretation for clinicians at the point of care by Team Super 6, Team Progress Report. Team Super 6 is composed of our project manager, Brian Basinger, our QA, Nikhil Patal, and developers Maksud Mahmudin, Chris Bauer, Arun Kumar Madhukuri, and Robert Attaway. Our Gantt chart has been updated to reflect the current status of our project. We've also assigned resources to each of the remaining tasks. We've had to reschedule some tasks due to complications with our selected implementation technology. Here is a breakdown of pending tasks. Each task includes the percent that they contribute to the remaining effort. The breakdown is as follows: 20% to complete the UI, 30% to build the logic to interact with the Fire server and implement the rules handling code, 10% to build the Docker and Jenkins components, 20% for framework and architecture, and 20% for system testing. Next steps include continued development on our UI and our backend. We need to configure Docker and Jenkins. We need to discuss additional rules with Dr. Park. We need to integrate our system with a test Fire server, and we need to test the entire system. We have two sets of screenshots, which I'll explain later. This first set shows the pages built using struts and tiles. What you see here is our login screen. If you look to the left of the image, you'll see the directory structure that contains the Java struts and tile code that builds that page. Here we see the page that you'll be redirected to upon a successful login. This page allows you to search for patients, select a patient from the search results, and then to see the details of that selected patient. What you see here is a screenshot of our database table that contains user login information. This database will also contain the rules as defined by Dr. Park. Now we'll go through some screenshots of the Angular and Node.js version of the system. What you see here is the dashboard. From here, you can search for patients, see a listing of all patients, and select a patient from the search results. This page shows a listing of all current patients in the system. Selecting a patient from this list will show you the detail for that patient. And finally, what we see here is the details of one particular patient. You can select a test from those shown to see the details of that test. If you click Analyze, our rules engine will analyze those test results and display the outcome. Now we'll go over the status of our project. To date, we've completed our project design, we've begun our initial implementation, and we've completed a proof of concept of an alternative implementation. So what's left? We need to implement code to connect to a Fire server, both from a configuration point of view and interacting with that server. We need to complete our user interface. We need to implement our rules checker, and then we need to test. So, what are our risks? We initially settled on a Java struts and tiles implementation, but we've run into a few challenges with it. Number one, it has a fairly steep learning curve, and number two, it requires a complex library and foundation setup. This has prompted us to consider an alternative technology. The alternative we are trying is Angular and Node.js. Both of these use a web browser to interact with the user, so the look and feel should not be affected. Other risks that have come to light are that our project requires a very specific type of resource, that being a liver function test. We'll need to analyze the data on the test Fire server to make sure we can find enough good test data. Also, we've encountered some issues with HDAP and Fire server availability. Since we have no control over those systems, we'll need to work around those issues as they arise. We plan to have a functional alpha version complete by 4/22. This system may be a little rough around the edges, but should be functionally complete. We plan to deploy our system to the Georgia Tech provided server. Thank you.